had to describe my approach to architecture and design in 3 words, I would say simple, appropriate, and nice.
My 3 words would be intuitive, detailed, and humane.
I've actually been an architect now for over 40 years. Really, it all began during my early days, teenager. My father was a mechanical engineer, and I worked at the firm as a teen. Got to understand buildings, and he was very good and disciplined to teach me all there was about buildings, and that's how it got me interested.
Architecture school was a revelation to me. I saw that architecture was about everything, from the city that we live in to the buildings that we reside in.
And when you first start out with 0 clients and 0 contacts, you basically scramble to do anything. But then over time, through networking, we started meeting prospects, and then we got into some small restaurants. We've done everything from commercial office interiors, working with institutions like Missouri Historical Society, Missouri History Museum, Missouri Botanical Garden, St. Louis Art Museum.
Restaurants such as Sato, Katie's Pizza, Madrina. We've done a diverse amount of projects across St. Louis, ranging from the more visible projects like our work at Mobot, this restaurant.
And this was just an opportunity really of a lifetime for something this big and something that had so much meaning behind it. The theme centered around biophilic design, which is simply representing all things natural. So you'll see in this space these botanical panels. And one of the panels is one that our family wound up sponsoring because it was very different from all the other panels in the composition of the design, almost Van Gogh Starry Night design, and it just to us seemed very spiritual to represent our parents. Outside of my architecture profession, I'm involved with the Missouri Historical Society's Chinese American Collecting Initiative. And being a son of immigrant parents, it's amazing how much people don't know about the Chinese American history in St. Louis. Until you get to know some of that history and hard work that people put in before you, then I think people don't really appreciate who you are, or they don't see you in that lens. And that was very important, and still is important for us to tell these stories so that people can understand who we are. We're not the same, we're all different, and that's something to celebrate. I was born in the 50s, so growing up there weren't very many Asians. There weren't very many other immigrants, feeling like you're just anonymous. So over the years, St. Louis has grown in terms of diversity. We need more change, we need more people to come in, and some of that is we need the immigrant community to grow here. We are involved in quite a variety of things, everything from organic farm to public art.
The first time I stepped on Earth Dance, I was just blown away about how it felt like home. My father had passed away 10 years earlier, and it so reminded me of my father because when I was growing up in California, he grew 16 different fruit trees. He grew them because he loved us, he loved our Chinese heritage, he loved his communities. I knew it was a place that I could volunteer at. And one of the things that they asked of me was if I could help raise fund for their orchard, to help replace fruit trees that died, to hire pruning companies to come and prune the trees. And I was all over it, because it just so reminded me of all the things that my father gave for us. And so I helped start the Oscar Lee Orchard Fund. And, it's just made me so happy that when my son was an intern at Earth Dance, that he was a part of this continuing legacy of farming. I think my kids are so awesome, Naomi and Matthew. They embody all the things that Peter and I deeply believe in. They are committed to food. We're passionate about food, and we're all passionate about the communities.
I think one of the amazing things about St. Louis is it has such rich architecture of all styles. We have so many buildings that are still intact. We have neighborhoods that are relatively intact. And I don't think people appreciate that that doesn't exist in a lot of places.
After 30 years of working in this community, I would say that this is my home. And I think once you think of it as your home, St. Louis embraces you.